more songs, or we might be ready to roll. I'm not sure. I'm gonna take Kiro's cue on that one. What's the word? We trying to keep going? We trying to...
Yeah, we can get started. Thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks Bendigo for providing some music. Thanks Miago for helping out with the co-host duties since Bendigo. We have Taco and First Avenue People as our featured artists today. This isn't going to be like the NexusLive show. This is just going to be short format where we focus on the artists and get to know them better, sort of an interview process. And then if anyone wants to ask any questions or do an open at the end of the show, you're more than welcome. So, yeah, we can go ahead and get started.
Well, let's do it. We've got First Avenue People, right? I just wanted to say hey to Mialgo. We haven't even heard his voice yet.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Chilling, man. I'm digging your Bob Ross.
Yeah, thank you.
I love Bob.
Tiago's the man for hooking it up with the custom bob.
His bobs.
To 5 bobs.
Those bobs are on fire, man. They're really sick. I'm loving it.
They are the heat.
Yes,
man. Yeah, and how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everybody's doing great. Thanks for joining. Glad to have First Avenue and Taco up here to talk. And yeah, I mean, let's get it going, guys, gals, everyone.
Yes, let's jump right into it. First Avenue People, are you in the house?
Yeah. Hello.
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 Good. It's working properly. Yeah. Hi, guys and girls. I think there are more women in the space today. So thank you all for having us, because we weren't really expecting this invitation, but gladly taking it.
Yes, we're happy to have you on. Welcome to the space. Yeah, you're coming through clear. And from what I know, it's there's more than one of you on the team, right?
Yeah, there's 2 of us, 2 girls. Yodi, who's a ecologist, and she's a ecologist artist, and myself. My name is actually Roxana, or Roxanne, as you wish, and I'm a 3D artist.
That's awesome, Roxana. And where are you located?
Actually, we're both from Latin America. Jodi's from Costa Rica, and I'm from Cuba. So yeah, that's why this accent is a bit funny.
Oh, it's not funny. It's exotic and it's beautiful and it's awesome. We love it.
Thank you.
I live in Alabama, so there's a lot of those are funny accents to me, the accent. But yeah, it's awesome to hear some people coming from Latin America. I've noticed there's a lot of NTRs from Cuba in particular. I've seen quite a few photographers from Cuba, which is awesome.
Yeah. There's really talented people joining Algowire, so that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the name First Avenue People, where does that come from? What does that mean?
Well, we had a few meetings, and at the end we went for that name for conceptual reasons. We wanted to give the feeling of a neighborhood, perhaps a regular neighborhood. So we are creating a narrative which go through Gen 1 to Gen 2 and, well, Gen 3, but I don't want to make a spoiler yet. So Gen 1 is this neighborhood, this ordinary people. It's a bit more apocalyptic in Gen 2. The people leave Earth and we go to the bots, which is these robots that are gonna be our main characters in Gen 2. So that's why we went for First Avenue. for the neighborhood.
Mialgo, were you about to jump in there?
I was. So what's the plan for the second name then?
For the bot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So for Gen 1, we were using traits to create these whole neighbors, let's call them.
Neighbors.
But
Okay.
now for the bots, we are making one-on-one art. We want to go deeper in concepts and try to show more details even in the 3D models. So yeah, we see it as a growth. We went from 2.5 an experiment, as is what it was for me, to fully 3D art. So that I think we grew as artists.
Yeah, I'm really digging the 3D ones here that I'm looking at on your page. It's like reminds me of like going to Legoland and seeing the giant like robotic, like it's like, you know what I mean? Like so much detail, such a complex thing. I don't know if anybody's been to like the giant Legoland places, but yeah,
I've been.
totally gave me some nostalgic vibes there.
I've actually got plans for Legoland this fall. I'm already working on booking my trip out there. First Avenue people, would you tell us a little bit more about your creative process? Like how do you actually make these pieces?
Well, we focus on, as I said, on the concept. We were thinking on something apocalyptic, like what happens after the people left and the bots are staying in Earth alone. So they'll keep their functions. They'll keep trying to be their self. Like if one of them is created as a claw machine for games, he will try to keep doing that. But what happens? So some of them you'll see they're a bit destroyed or really old textures. So this is being left behind. So after we decide which concept we go through, our modeling starts to happen. And that's really a stressful part because you see the models, the 3D models have a lot of detail, like even a small thing, it has to look like almost in real life, or at least that's what I try, but with the robot I said. So yeah, and then colors, backgrounds, make it one single concept in every piece.
Awesome. Yeah. What inspires all these different backgrounds and traits for the different buds and characters?
We just try to create the atmosphere, like create this story behind the robot. Why is he there? Where is he? What's he doing? Sometimes I feel like some of the pieces could just walk, like they're just gonna go out of the image and walk or do something. So that's what we try to create the atmospheres, and I hope it also shows in the background selection. We do that by hand in Photoshop. So there's also a lot of programs like softwares getting into this. I model in a few of them, and then voxelar, and then Photoshop. It could be three.
Yeah, I really like the some of the like the tree coming through the helmet one, and like the backgrounds are really unique. I can tell that they're, you know, different than any other background I've seen before. It's very, if you like go really close, like you said, there's a ton of detail going on with these pieces. It's very, very detailed. Is it voxel art?
Yeah, voxelar.
Perfect. Okay.
Exactly.
So you said there's two of you. Now, who does what? Or are you both artists, or does one person do the art, one person does something else? Like how do you divvy it up?
Well, I usually manage socials like Twitter's and Twitter and Discord, but we both do the artworks. Jody's more of a conceptual artist and usually dealing like working with the softwares. Although I'll have to give her almost full credit for the background. She's really the best, I think. Being a college's artist really helps us here. So I hope that answers it. She also does a bit of she interacts in Discord and Twitter, but she's mostly in the conceptual part of the.
And have you worked together on projects before, or is this your first thing as the two of you?
It's our first, I think. I helped a bit when she was starting with the college. I was doing a bit of animation. I'm not that good at it. Just a bit creative, trying to make animations with the little I know from Photoshop. So just that before First Avenue people. We actually started talking about First Avenue on December, and it came to life on March. So we had over 3 months of talking and trying to make the characters come alive.
That's great. Yeah, it shows that a lot of planning has gone into it, and just the way that you talk about the story of it and the world of it, you can tell that there's been a lot of thought put into that, and I think that really comes through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you for putting out such great work.
Yeah, it's cool to see the like evolution between the generations.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we'll see what we come up for Gen 3, but for now, just starting Gen 2. We are actually having a small batch drop tomorrow on a shuffle on Algo XNFT. So a bit of a chilling here. But yeah, that's what was bringing to us. I actually have to change the name from First Avenue to just But. But yeah.
Okay, so you said that shuffle is tomorrow on Algo XNFT?
Yeah.
All
exactly.
Right. You heard it here first, folks. All right. So I wanted to ask you, what is your artistic background like before you got into the world of NFTs? Like, were you a graphic designer? Is it something you just did for fun? Are you brand new, or?
Well, I've always been close to arts. I'll say ever since I was a kid, like my great grandfather was a painter, so I was always, seeing stuff around the house, like paintings and color palettes and all stuff that were just all art. And well, I had to make my mind a few years ago about my studies, and I went for architecture. And it really helped me out for digital art and a spatial training. I don't know if that's the way you call it in English, like 3D stuff, also illustration and representation of 2D as well. So yeah, my backgrounds are basically just architecture.
That's really cool. So you make these voxel pieces, like that's really crazy. You don't really see a lot of people doing voxel stuff. I mean, I've seen plenty of pixel art, but the 3D pixels, that's another level. It's like Miyago said, kind of like Lego.
Yeah.
Is it built in a similar fashion, or like how do you like? I don't know. I can't really wrap my head around how the voxel thing.
Well,
I was going to say the architecture makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so. Also, I started for with a collection about architecture, but in Tesos, right before I moved to Algorand. So yeah, everything started with architecture.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I can totally see that the architecture built into your pieces. That's cool to hear.
Yeah, even the First Avenue town, we model this a street like with the buildings and stuff, like little windows and everything, just to give a little of a background to the collection.
I'd love to see the town. Where can we see this? That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Is that something that's that we can see? The
Oh yeah, I had it as a banner. I just took it off just today. So yeah, it must be lost in the Twitter profile now.
Oh
It's
man,
been there for a couple of months. I'm sorry.
that's okay. Just the fact that you built a town for your characters to live in.
Oh, just a little
Yeah.
street. I wouldn't call it a town yet.
Hey, there's some towns that are just one street. um, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, so you said you came from Tezos first.
Yeah.
What brought you over here?
Well, after we finished that collection that was about historical buildings, a friend told us about Algran, and we gave it a try. And ever since then, I haven't left, and that's like 9 months or 1 month now. So I stay for the community mostly. I really feel welcoming. I don't know, it feels well. I think I even made friends that I don't even know their names in real life, but I think of them as friends. So it's a really good feeling to be in Algorand.
That's so sweet, and I love to hear that. And honestly, that is one thing that I've heard from almost every single person in this community is that they have made friends and that they felt welcomed, and that it really is like a fam, like Algo fam is a thing, and I love it, and I appreciate all of you guys here, and I felt the same way, honestly. So we're glad to have you, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Glad to be here.
for sure. Miago, did you have any more questions for First Avenue? Was there anything we didn't touch on, or?
I was gonna say, maybe I missed this, or I think I might have interrupted, so we skipped past it. Is there only is Magica Voxel or Magical Voxel, or I forget the name of it? Is that the only software for voxel art, or are there multiple softwares for doing that type of art?
I think it has a lot of versions, like even the newest one allows you to animate in voxel art. I haven't tried those yet.
Okay, cool.
No, any other software, but voxel art or magical voxel has a lot of versions of it.
Yeah, I was looking at the software, and it is cool because they even have a similar 3D software to ZBrush in there that is pretty awesome looking. And it's free, which is really cool. So it's really cool to see what you do with the tiny little block-like pixels. It's super detailed Lego stuff. I was it's crazy. It's like what I wish I could build with Legos when I was a kid, but never could. Never could, and probably never would be able to.
Well, I can tell you sometimes it's really stressful, but most of the time it's fun. It's fun to do that kind of things and to actually see the result that sometimes is not even what you were looking for, but end up even better.
Yeah,
so
but it requires a ton of patience.
I'll give you some tips.
I think the level of patience you have to do that is probably way higher than I will ever have, because I have watched an artist do voxel art and just a little bit, and I love watching him, but I can't imagine having to try and do it myself. It is not easy, and props to you for doing it. I know Kiro and I have a friend that does voxel art, and I can tell you right now, it's not as simple as she's making it sound. So, but props to you and keep it up.
I'll stick to the real Legos for now. And yeah, I don't think I'm going down that road. I'm seeing in your pinned tweet that you reached 10,000 algo in volume. That's a huge milestone. Congratulations on that. That's big.
Thank you. We had huge secondary going on last week. We were having a challenge, and I think it spiced things up a bit. So yeah, it worked quite well, actually.
That's great. So you mentioned that there's going to be more generations in the future. So it seems like this is going to be kind of an ongoing project of the First Avenue people and the neighborhood. What sneak peeks or little information bits are you willing to tell us about the future of First Avenue people?
Well, I think it's pretty early still. Like just Gen 2 releasing has been a crazy couple of weeks. Yeah, there's definitely gonna be more from First Avenue. Although we changed names, we changed the aesthetics, the project continues to be the same. As I said, we are sticking to a narrative that started with a normal, fine neighborhood to an apocalyptic history or a story. Sorry. So we'll go to that, and yeah, that's what we could expect from Gen 3 as well, and everything that will come after.
Cool. I like the contrast there.
That's great. Yeah. So you've got the first shuffle coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
On X NFT. Are you going to continue to use that format for the Gen 2? Is it going to be more shuffles like that, or are there going to be, individual pieces, or how's that working?
Well, they are all one-on-one, but yeah, I think we're going to stick with the shuffles. Most likely, we'll change to Discord shuffles at some point. They're gonna be just small batches every time, like 4 or 5 pieces. There's absolutely no way we could manage to get more pieces ready for the shuffle. So yeah, small shuffles, perhaps one or twice a week.
Because you make each piece by hand individually. There's nothing generative about this project. Is that what you're saying?
We have the base of robot. Sometimes we have like different body parts and stuff we actually have to use, like to keep the image in the same place, like heads or the body in the same position. But besides that, everything is non-generative.
That's great, and that's huge. Because doing how many? 111.
Yeah.
Wow. So this will be going on for months, right? For
months. Yeah.
At least. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
It gives a lot of people a chance to jump in.
Hopefully, I'll go a bit faster after a few weeks of doing regularly to just get practice. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get more pieces for a week. But for now, that's what we think: 4 or 5 pieces in each shuffle, and perhaps 1 or 2 shuffles. We'll see.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I feel like we've about covered it. Is there anything else that you feel like you wanna tell everybody? Or Mialgo, did you have any other questions? Or
I was going to say the same thing. Did we like miss anything that you'd like us, to share with us or whatever? Otherwise, no.
Well, not for me. If anything, I'll be cool answering or waiting. I don't know how this is going to go.
Kiro, what's the floor for some, or what do you think?
Yeah, before we move on to the next artist, we can open the floor to some questions. If anyone wants to be a speaker, just request and I'll add you in.
We've got D4 speaker. What's up? How's it going?
Yeah, good. How's everyone going? I was just admiring the voxel art of the buds. I've attempted voxel art before, and yeah, it's I'll stick to Blender. I give props to anyone that does voxel art. It's a bit of a headache.
I really love your work, D4. So coming from you, really, thank you.
Thank you. No, I'm looking at it now. I'll definitely be on the shuffle tomorrow. I've got 1,000 questions for voxel art, but yeah, this is probably not the place. Yeah, can do it. What's the main process when you are starting? Is probably my only question with that kind of art style. Is there like a base you go in with a visual going, this is what I want, or is it just you're building an asset library and just putting all these assets on top?
Okay, I model some of the stuff right in voxel art, but pieces are way too difficult to create, like too many curves or something like it. And I'm really familiarized with a program called SketchUp, which is for architects, but that's where I feel the most comfortable. I do a bit of Blender, but not in a good level. I wouldn't brag about Blender. I don't even know why I'm mentioning it, but yeah. So the most difficult assets are not made in voxel art because it's almost impossible to create those figures and shapes. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, it did. And just another question with your lighting, with the voxel program you use, is the lighting taking care of that, or do you do that in Photoshop or another program?
Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't get that last part.
My question was with the lighting, with the voxel program that you use, is the lighting done in that program, or is there another one you use for the lighting in the pictures?
Well, the process, as I was telling you, is model anywhere else and also sometimes in voxel art. But then we render right there, and we give the lights and atmosphere and smokes right there in voxel art. And after that, we just do a little Photoshop.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's awesome. I love your work and can't wait to get my hands on a few pieces tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
This is really cool, D4 and First Avenue talking about voxel art, because I really want to see some D4 voxel art now.
Oh, look, I've done some voxel art and you do not want to see it. Like, you will not have respect for me ever again. You'll be like, what the hell is this? Well, I love Lego. Like, I still build Lego now, and that's what. Yeah, I kind of have a passion for voxel art, but it's one of those things. I've attempted it so many times, and it's just know your strengths. So I'll stick to like Blender, mocap, all that. And yeah, I'll let the voxel art be taken care of by other people.
It's the same for me and Blender. I just wouldn't show it to anyone.
It's that good old thing, know your strengths, and it's like drawing. I have my life, but yeah, I'll just stick to 3D art.
Yeah, you're right.
That's great. And was there anybody else that might have had questions? We've got two other speakers here already up, Taco and Mint NFT. Taco's going to be our next speaker, but I mean, if either of you have anything else to say. Oh, looks like Mint. What is up, Mint? Step up to the mic. Are you with us?
Yeah, of course I'm with you. I didn't have any questions for First Avenue, only because I felt like you asked so many amazing ones, and I learned a lot about your project, which is why I came to the space. Whenever I see an algo space, I want to come, and there's only a handful. So thanks to the host for hosting, and as always, like I'm so impressed by the art in this community, and also like y'all were saying, it's really the friendliness that keeps me coming back, because they're truly made in all these spaces, but I want more than that. I really want the combined art and community on top of a natively green blockchain. And my name is Echo, but you can call me Mint, and I work for a multi-chain NFT platform. We don't have Algorand integrated yet, but we basically will do whatever our clients ask for us. So if they want Algo for their NFTs, and of course that's what we'd integrate. And it's the people in this space who are doing the hard work, getting the word out there that there is a really great community and that Algorand NFTs matter. So shout out to y'all.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. And I think you're right. Everybody's kind of here for the same reasons. We like the people. It's a fam. And as far as the different spaces on Algo, you should follow the Algowire account. Kiro does a great job of retweeting all the Algo spaces. Really, that's a big part of his mission, to make sure that everybody is able to see what all those spaces are, because there's not really a central place to keep up with it all, unless you're just on Twitter at all times. So follow Algowire, and thanks Kiro for starting this whole thing and keeping us together as a team. This is a community effort. We're all in this together.
I just wanted to add a side note actually to that spin. If you follow AlgoFam.algo, he does a great job of tweeting spaces too, and he'll kind of do like a weekly report, and he'll have like descriptions. I just retweet the spaces, but AlgoFam.algo actually gives you descriptions and has like a full thread of all the week's spaces. So yeah, we're trying to, you don't really have a central place, so we're trying to have like an easy way for people to find spaces.
I just followed. Yeah. So thanks for everything. Yeah. Now I know.
And appreciate it.
Everybody just go ahead and follow everybody that's in the space. Just do everybody a solid. Just everybody follow each other. That's the way it's done. For real though. All right. Thank you so much, First Avenue people. I think that we pretty much covered your project in depth, and everybody's excited about it. We're all stoked to see more. And I think we're getting ready to move on to our next person. What does everybody think about that? Algo?
Taco.
Like, who's ready to hear about these crazy looking octopi coming on Octorand?
Octopi.
Yes. All right, Taco, are you with us?
I'm here. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
What is up? Welcome. Happy to have you. So who is Taco? What is Taco? And what are these octopus all about?
Okay. So I'll just introduce myself a little first. So my name is Taco, and I've been involved in Octorand since the launch back in January. I've been an active member of the Octorand community, as the developer, Declan, and the community itself collectively decided on the direction for Octorand. And for anybody who's not familiar with Octorand, so Octorand NFTs are strings of letters that you can transform to make words and other cool combinations, and earn points and stuff like that. And so my project, the Tacos, grew out of the desire of Octoprime owners for PFBs to represent their primes and give a little bit more of a visual aspect to Octorand. But eventually the project evolved to something bigger, to the point where it's now its own cool NFT collection inspired by Octorand, and leveraging the tech of Octorand through the Octorand Launchpad. And I'm glad to dive straight into more details about Tacos, unless you got any questions already.
Yes. That was a lot already. So what is the thing about stringing letters? That kind of flew right over my head.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
Sure, guys. So Octorand, that's actually the Octorand platform, the Octorand project. And so in January, Declan, who's the developer of Octorand, came out with these Octorand NFTs, and they were called Octoprimes. And each Octoprime has 8 letters, and they're each a string of 8 letters, and mutable NFTs, which means that you can transform the letters using Octorand's currency called the Octo token. And by transforming those letters, you can create words, and there are different badges that get assigned to strings that become words or become some kind of like cultural reference and things like that. And based on the badges that you earn by transforming your word, there's like a lot of gamesmanship and strategy to try to transform your 8-letter string at the most points. And there's a leaderboard, and there are seasons, and whoever's at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the season will earn some prizes. And season 1 is actually coming to a close, I think at the end of August. So that's the Octorand platform, and that's they've already been a pretty successful NFT project in the space. And now the Octorand dev has created a launch pad. And so my project and another project are going to be the 2 NFT projects that sort of inaugurate the launch pad. So let me know if you have any questions, because I know Octorand is definitely a lot to digest.
Okay, yeah, I got a question. A question that I think I just came up with out of my own mentality is like, can you explain a little difference between the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Octorand string stuff?
Sure. I think the reason that Gen 2 is sort of spawned out of the the really high price point Gen 1 Octoprimes achieved like very early on. And so the community and the dev just wanted a way for more people to participate in the community and get involved. And so the dev created Gen 2, which is a string of 16 letters instead of 8. And so in certain ways you can get even more creative. Although Octorand Gen 1 is definitely more challenging to come up with something that'll get a lot of points. And Gen 2 and Gen 1 are related in certain ways. So Gen 1 has 8 Gen 2 children. And if you collect Gen 1 and the 8 children of Gen 2, so both the Gen 1 and the Gen 2s that you have get certain score boosts and get certain badges. And that's sort of I think that's like the high level view of the relationship between them. But Gen 2 is just, it's cheaper to buy and it's cheaper to transform. So if Gen 1 costs 10 octo to transform a single letter, like the token, 10 octo token, Gen 2 costs 0.2 octo a single letter. And I see in the space there are some other Octorand enthusiasts, and the Octorand Twitter itself is in the room. So if there's anything they want to add, they can definitely hop in.
Maybe we'll hear from them in a little bit if they're willing to speak. That'd be very interesting. But I do want to hear more about the art that you're creating that goes along with this, that sort of is like it seems like Scrabble mixed with like high technology craziness and NFTs.
That was more my thing. Is like I was trying to figure out if the Gen 2 people had any chance to get these cool octopi.
Yeah. So where does your octopus series play into all this?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to talk about that. So, which is actually the reason I'm here. So octoprimes, as you can imagine, because they're strings of 8 or 16 letters, are really cool in their own right, but they don't really have a visual aspect to them in a way that the rest of the Algo and NFT community does, right? Because there's no PFPs, there's no, there's no real way to communicate via image, how cool your NFT is and sort of represent it and wear it as a badge of honor on your socials. So the community was yearning for some sort of visual way to represent their NFTs. And the dev was busy building a ton of cool features. Like I said, Gen 2 came like, a month and a half or something after Gen 1. Maybe I'm messing up the timeline, but I think maybe 2 months max after Gen 1. And he was busy working on a bunch of things, creating the whole scoring system and the seasons and just a real like ecosystem. And so I figured this was an opportunity to deliver something to the community that that the community wanted. And so I reached out to an artist and came up with these tacos. And the tacos themselves have traits and have traits that are related to Octoprime badges. So the badges that I referenced earlier that can earn you points on Octorand. So these tacos have traits that are in like certain categories of badges. So for example, there's a wordsmith badge. If you create a word on your Octoprime NFT, you get the wordsmith badge and it's worth 200 points. But and in Thailand, so there are a couple of different traits that come along with or that are sort of based on the wordsmith badge. And so one of them is a cool dictionary, one of them is a graduation hat and a diploma. And you can earn those different traits. Well, you don't earn those different traits, but you can spawn those different traits when the tacos are minted.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, so it's not just like a random set of traits. It's specific to the badge that you've earned that you would get like on your, like say I'm an Octorand player and I've earned the wordsmith badge. So if I go to buy one of these taco octopuses, are my traits going to relate to the badge that I have earned? Is that what you're saying?
So that was definitely one direction we could have gone in. I think the way we took it at the end of the day was that we wanted to make sure that the art was, as cool and as visually appealing as possible. And so we're launching these now is that the traits will be completely randomized. And you'll get an average certain number of traits. So you'll get 4 traits per taco that you mint. But then once those tacos are minted, the tacos themselves will be it'll be very rare to get a certain combination of badges and certain combination of traits that represent those badges, so that Octoprime owners who want PFPs that relate to their badges will only have a limited pool to choose from that directly relate to their Octoprime. And now, obviously, any Prime owner can buy any of them and choose that one to represent their engagement with the community and their love for Octorand. But if they wanted specifically a taco that has traits that correlate to their badges, then they'll have to pick from a small pool of tacos that they can, and hopefully that'll drive some value and some rarity to these tacos.
And that'll definitely help with the secondary market because everybody's going to be swapping and looking for particular traits that they're interested in because it relates to their achievements, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's super cool. I don't think I've ever heard anything quite like that in this kind of field. And I think it's really cool to bring the gaming aspect together with the PFP, artistic aspect, because I do see that a lot of times the games that happen on chain and these NFT games, a lot of times they don't really have a strong visual element. It's more like in a, you know, it's like numbers and letters and words, and you get these little tokens, but you can't really like wear it, you know, like you could another NFT series. So I really appreciate that you're kind of bridging that gap.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that the Octarand community, like I said, has really been pining for. Um, but I think also it's pretty cool that Octarand has its own website, and so the way that the dev has set this up is that Octoprime owners can only display NFTs next to their Octoprime if those NFTs were launched on the Octarand launchpad. So my project, and like I referenced earlier, the other project that's launching to inaugurate the launchpad in a couple of weeks. So those will be the only two options out of the gate for Octoprime owners to try and represent their Octoprimes.
Very cool. Okay, so now that we've kind of cracked the eggshell a little bit on that whole side of it, the art itself is really cool. So do you draw these, or how do you make these?
Thank you. Well, so actually, I saw some art from another Algo community called Algo Seas, and so they came out with a skulls collection, like skull-based NFTs, and I thought the art was awesome. And so I reached out to the artist for that collection, and we've been collaborating on this art. But so that artist is actually the person who created the art, and you know, if I told him this is the trait we want, so he drew it up and used Photoshop, and I think Procreate was the other app he used, and you know, and we just went back and forth on how we wanted the trait to look, and he delivered the art to me.
Very cool. Okay, and so they're going to be released through the Octarand platform. Now, is that the Launchpad you said? Is that somewhere where anybody can mint NFTs, or is it directly connected in with the Octarand game? Or
so that's something that's actually I think pretty revolutionary. I don't think there's. I might be wrong. I'm not, you know, such a veteran in the space, but I don't think there's really a good NFT launchpad in the algo space. And so Octarand yet, right? I think there are definitely a few in development. And so Octo is going to launch this launchpad and basically just be a hub for creators to just get some tech, get access to some tech and development and high level things that you know, the average creator doesn't really have access to, you know, in the current market, right? So if, for example, a really established project in the algo space, like the Algoanos so they have like a real sophisticated team. They've got an ASA. They're developing staking mechanisms and all this stuff. And you know, some projects have their own art generators. And so Octarand is going to provide all of those things to any creator who just, you know, obviously it's going to have to, I don't know like the details, but I'm sure there's going to be a bit of an application process or something like that. You know, obviously, and Octarand itself can speak more to that, but they're going to provide these services and access to this tech to any NFT creator, anybody who's an artist and just wants to create a cool collection. And I think it's supposed to be, or it's meant to be for the entire Algo NFT community, not just for Octarand.
and the octopus. I'm sorry. What is are the octopus called Octarand? Are the octopus called Taco? I'm trying to just
Yeah,
what I should
sure,
refer
I'll
to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll sort it out. There's a lot of terminology. So Octarand is the platform. Octoprimes are the Octarand NFTs, and then my project are tacos. Taco is Japanese for octopus, and so hence the name. And so these tacos are, like I mentioned, like related to, they're being launched off of the Octorand launchpad, and they're related to, in certain ways, the Octorand Octoprime NFTs.
Okay, thank you. That made it very clear. Okay, so the series that you are here about is the tacos, and your role in the tacos is like what exactly? Like, so you've got the artist who created the visuals, and you're kind of directing the artistic direction of like, we want these traits to tie in with these achievements and the symbolism that goes with the Octorand game, and then that series that's created, those NFTs, those are open for anybody to be able to get, whether they play the game or not, right? Like,
yeah, that'll be open to the wider NFT community. Yeah.
And you're like the ambassador of that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would use that exact term, but ambassador sounds good. I mean, my role is basically just to, like you said, decide the direction of the art and what art and traits the project should have, the rarity of the traits, all the specifics about the project, the minting process, the tokenomics of the ASA. We haven't even gotten into that, but there's a separate ASA for these NFTs called taco coins, and we can get into that in a minute. The utility of the ASA, running the project art, running the project once the art is created and the NFTs are generated. And I do have a bunch of plans for utility right out of the gate for the ASA and all of that stuff.
Cool. Okay. It's all making sense now. All right. I understand. So tell us about that ASA.
Yeah, sure. So each taco NFT will come with anywhere from, we're still working out the exact numbers, but probably somewhere between 60 and 90 tokens, taco coins. And those will be embedded in the smart contract of the NFT, and they'll be claimable upon generation. So if you purchase and mint one, then you'll get randomly somewhere between 60 and 90 taco coins. So those taco coins are deflationary. We can get back to that in a minute. And they'll have utility right out of the gate, like I mentioned. So there'll be a few games that are available upon launch or soon after launch. One will be a raffle game, one will be a lottery game, and participants will have to spend taco coins in order to participate and try and win algo rewards, NFT rewards, maybe even down the line some just ASA rewards. And so every single time a taco is spent, 90% of that taco coin will go directly to a burn wallet, and 10% will go into the taco treasury to be redistributed to the taco community. And so, the goal is, the hope is that from the second you purchase your NFT and you got your 60 to 90 taco coins, the value of those taco coins goes up because coins are just constantly burned. And so as long as there is algo flowing into the community, holders of taco coins, and there is algo in the taco treasury, holders of taco coins will have their taco coins rise in value because there'll be this constant deflationary pressure. And that's actually something, that was a lot to take in. So I'll let you take that in and see if you have any questions before diving into some other specifics.
That's cool. Okay. So I'm seeing there's a utility here. There's a lot of back end stuff that's going to need a lot of management and technical support and some really smart devs to run all that. So that's really cool. So all of the ASA and the I'm sorry, does that all occur through the Octorand website?
Yeah, so Octorand, so that's part of the features that the Octorand Launchpad is providing. I'm going to have a separate page for my project, and on that project page there will be different, different like information about the project, like sort of like a learn tab, let's say, where you can learn about the project, and a statistics tab where you can see the statistics of all the sales and stuff like that. And then an inbuilt marketplace will also be there with smart contract enforced royalties. And then besides that, there will also be a tab for games for my specific project, and that's all going to be hosted on the Octorand website. And that, well, it'll be sort of a separate website, but it will be an Octorand. It will be the Octorand Launchpad website, and as long as and I'll be providing the code like you mentioned, and the games themselves. But then interacting with the games will be the Octorand dev Declan and the Octorand platform will be hosting those games on the website and allowing it to take place and allowing the ecosystem to flourish there. And so that's one of the benefits of launching off the Octorand Launchpad. I don't have to create my own website, create my own ecosystem, work on my own UI and stuff like that. Like that is all provided by the Octorand Launchpad.
That is very cool, because I think that's a huge barrier for a lot of people coming into this space, and I think that that's something that we could really use, because I don't know about you guys, but I am not a dev, I'm not a coder, I can't do all that stuff. I like the pretty pictures and I like to make cool stuff, but when it comes to all of that, I wouldn't even know where to begin, and I would have to hire somebody or do some kind of collaboration with a team to be able to even begin to have staking mechanisms, ASAs, and things like that. So that Launchpad, it's very promising. I love the sound of that. And so the tacos is like the first project coming out on this Launchpad as sort of like an example to the people of like the capabilities. Am I understanding that properly?
Yeah, tacos are both octopi and guinea pigs. There will be the experimental NFT project. Like I mentioned, there will be another NFT project that's called Guardians, and that'll come out also, and it has some similar characteristics in terms of relationship to Octoprimes and stuff like that. And so both of those projects will be launched on the Octorand Launchpad, and people will get to see like how awesome the Octorand platform is and how awesome the Octorand dev is. Smooth at the entire like minting process and everything beyond for the project goes, and hopefully the success of my project and my colleague's project or my friend's project will entice people to launch on the Octo Launchpad and work with the Octo team.
So what's your background? Like, how'd you get into all this? Like, have you made NFT series in the past, or like how'd you get to this point?
So I myself have not been in the NFT space for very long. My introduction to the NFT space was actually Octorand in January, and so it wasn't really through the normal channels of the PFPs and the cool art and stuff like that. It was through Octorand's word game, and just like the wild highs of right after mint, like the prices of the NFTs going up 10 times. It definitely did have that aspect of it, which is more traditional NFTs. But I've been in the algo space since around January of 2020. Didn't jump into ASAs until like last summer. And then, like I said, my first introduction to NFTs was in January with Octorand.
Very cool. So you're definitely coming from the more technical side. Where are you from, if you don't mind my asking? Like, or at least where are you located?
Sure, I'm from and located in New York.
Cool. And is the Octorand team there in New York too, or are they global or?
Sort of global. I mean, the Octorand team is made up of, this one like godlike dev, Declan, who's from Australia, and then there's a bunch of like
damn
awesome
Aussies, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're invading the space with their good ideas, and they're good projects, and they're awesome projects.
I love them.
Yeah. So and then there's also a bunch of like volunteer moderators who have been just like key to driving the growth of the Octorand community. It's been awesome, and so I know some of them are from the UK. Some of them are from here in the U.S., but I don't know, too much other detail about that.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool though. It's so crazy that people from all across the entire world can come together on projects and put together crazy things that nobody's even thought of before. It's just a sign of the times, you know. It's really cool that we can all be in different places. Like even right now, I'm sure people from almost every continent just hanging out, chit chatting right now. So Mialgo, sorry, I just went off on a little.
No, I was just gonna say this dude taught me more about Octarand in this space than I've known the whole time I've been holding my Gen 2s, foolishly doing nothing with them.
You got to get in on the action, transform them a bit.
I know, I've been holding on to them forever. I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't understand it. I get it more now. So thank you very much. Help me out.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. Okay. So I feel like we've gotten a good rundown of the Octarand platform. We've gotten a pretty decent explanation of how it all ties together and who you are and what you do. I really like the look of the art. I'm gonna admit it. I'm slightly bummed that we're not able to speak with the artist because I did want to ask questions about that kind of thing. But maybe you.
Cool. I think we kind of get a little bit of the artist here though, because I think he said that he designed he conceptually designed the whole project and worked with the artist to create it all. So he's like, here, make this. Artist came back, they worked together. So am I right, Taco?
Yeah,
Jonah?
I mean, if you can
Jonah?
imagine.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you could call me either
Across
one.
in any kind of way. I'm sorry if that came across harshly.
No worries at all. No worries at all. I mean, he is awesome, and he's a pleasure to speak to, and he creates really cool art. So maybe we could get him on one of these spaces one of these days. But that's right about the process. I mean, I was sort of sending him ideas of what I wanted it to look like, and sometimes sending along Google images of something like this, and he put his own style on it, his own twist on it, which is awesome, and I loved it. So that's why the collab worked so well.
So can you tell us a little bit about the traits? Because you were saying it ties in with the rewards and the game, and that was more your contribution. So like, what are these traits all about? I'm seeing this guy has a rifle of some kind. It's got like a white hair. Like, I'm just looking at your profile pic right now. And then these other ones, this is nuts with the alien UFO like abducting this octopus's brain, and he's got like mummy wraps around him with the stormy background. Like there's some gnarly traits in here. So yeah, what is this? Yeah.
So I think that's sort of where the creativity came in, was trying to think of ways for trying to think of art that related to Octarand badges, but was just cool and unique in its own right. So I mean, I could just run through, let's say, a couple of these, but the trait with the sniper rifle is an ode to, well, this is probably a complicated one, but it's an ode to the flipper badge. And so in order to get the flipper badge and for Octoprime to get the flipper badge, it has to be traded back and forth on the marketplace 5 times. And some people started to do that and sell their Octoprimes to themselves, to their own wallet, for 1 or 2 algo. And then at a point, people were like, you know what, I'm just going to snipe this guy's Octoprime. He's trying to sell it for 1 algo. I'll just snipe it. And so this trait, the sniper rifle, is related to the flipper badge. That's a bit of a complicated one, but some of them are more obvious connections. Some of them are a little bit more obscure, but that's sort of the fun, trying to figure out how they connect. So the UFO trait, for example, is related to the fiction badge, and the brain is related to the wordsmith badge, or maybe the phrase badge. There's also a phrase badge, and then the coin flip is also related to the flipper badge. The little baby there is related to the family badge. And so that was sort of the genesis of all these traits, just trying to think of like really fun, cute traits that would relate to these Octoprime badges and make them come to life. And maybe at a point we'll share with the community some of the discarded traits, some of the really awesome traits that just didn't work for whatever reason. But first, I'm really excited to just share what we do have. Like there's about 60 or so traits. And some of them come together, some of them come separately, and like I said, they're related to the Octoprime badges. And the NFTs. I don't think we touched on this, but the NFTs themselves the collection is not in existence. So it's more than likely that the tacos that you're seeing won't actually exist once all 1,000. That's the hard cap. Once all 1,000 of them are actually in existence, because they're randomly generated. And the combinations can be anything. And so that's some of the tech that the Octoran Launchpad is providing. And so I'm as excited as anybody to see like what goofy combinations come together and what cool combinations come together. And some people are gonna get really awesome ones.
That's awesome. So when is it happening? Like, when can I get my octopus, my taco? I need one. When does it drop?
The official answer is soon. But the launch will be, we're hoping for before this, but it'll probably be early September. So, you don't have to wait too long. It'll hopefully be, somewhere between, 10 days and 20 days or.
Dang, you hit us with the soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah.
The official answer. How diplomatic.
I'm with you. Soon, that's my favorite answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely true. So it's
Cool. Okay. Well, so if somebody wanted to just casually jump in and get involved in Octoran right now, where do they go? Should they just go to the website and just learn more? Is there like a Discord, or like, what's the best way to jump in for a beginner?
So if you want to learn about Octoran itself, there's a couple of cool resources. So on the website itself is a great place to start. There's a tab, the Learn tab, and you can learn a lot about the website, but just skimming through the Learn tab. There is also an Octo paper and Octo docs, which are two separate explainers. And if you want to just hop into the Discord, it's a super friendly place and just say, hey, I'm new here. Like, what are some resources? People will post to those. And if you want to learn about the Taco project in particular, so I'll be releasing a write-up of that in the next few days, and you'll have all the information that was provided in this space, plus some more.
Well, I feel like we about covered it. Was there any questions from the audience? I think we might open it up to some of our listeners. Algo, did you have anything else to bring up?
No, man, he nailed it. He gave me more information than I was expecting. I guess the only thing is, if at some other point, maybe you and your artist friend would like to come up and talk a little bit more about that. But I'm pretty happy with everything you shared with us. Thank you.
Well, we've got gov.algo. What is up, Gov?
How's it going, Gov?
Good. Thanks for having Taco on. I think it's important as to how good of a job Kiro does with finding great content in the community and bringing it onto the Algowire. So just really appreciate you guys showcasing this. I think there's two really separate but very important things that are going on with this. And so I've done some work with Taco, and I do a lot of work with the Octoran community. The launch pad's one thing, and then the Taco project launch is another thing. I think that the Taco project has like really cool art and has cool utility, and it's the community is going to be increasingly impressed by it. And then the Octoran Launchpad, for those that aren't aware, I don't think you can highlight it enough. Declan has already been noted as a top developer in the space, and if you've ever used Octoran's website, their process is very tried and true, and they've done really revolutionary things with bundling assets together and doing Dutch auctions and just a variety of things that are really, really smooth and seamless. So I think this is going to be like a great resource for folks that just want to focus on their art and focus on launching their projects, and then just go to a rock solid platform and say, like, okay, now I want to release it and I want to make sure it goes well. So I think it's really interesting, and I just appreciate you guys taking time to showcase it.
100%, man. I agree. That launch pad, that is next level. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that that is going to do a lot to onboard people onto Algorand if it can really do numbers. You know, like if the software or if the coding is capable of handling a high amount of people, I'm sure that if you build it, they will come. Because making things convenient, making it easy for somebody that doesn't have that expert level knowledge, that's the way to get people in that are the creative people like me. Like I couldn't go in and code all that stuff, but having a platform that would help me, that would be amazing. And I know that there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, it's I make no bones about it. I'm a big investor in Octo. I've gone in really hard on it. But the thing that's interesting to me about it is that instead of relying on Rand Gallery, XNFT, Zestbloom, which are all great platforms, Octorand went a different route. The whole roadmap is to create their own ecosystem, and so the NFTs that are released on there are generally bought and sold there, traded there, interacted with there. And if you go to NFT Explorer and you look at the top NFT sales by platform, Octorand's one of the largest platforms already. So they've done well over 1 million algo in sales for their 2 generations. They have a native token for their project that has a market cap right now of over 2.5 million algo. So it's its own little ecosystem, but it's growing. And the technology, I mean, they won Developer of the Year from the foundation. He really does great stuff. And so now for a portion of the mint proceeds, he'll create a platform for artists to release. And they're still tradable outside of the Octoverse, but they also become a little bit of extra utility for, their own projects. So you can now have a profile picture for your prime, because the primes look like a Scrabble board. They're not fun or interesting. So it fills a void, but it also creates a really easy, seamless avenue for these artists to launch. And so it's just interesting. I mean, we're a growing space. So, there's absolutely a need for Rand. There's absolutely a need for XNFT and Zestbloom and Dart. And now there's another one that's going to be a spot where a single spot where a little bit differently, because most of these projects now have a token connected with their NFT, and they've had to develop it, or they've had to pay a developer to do it. Well, now you can go somewhere and Taco can speak to it more eloquently than I can, but it's like, okay, well, I want to do a token associated with my NFT, and they say, no problem. Well, it's going to be baked into our launch. So I think it's really interesting on both sides of it, from the artist side and from the launchpad side.
Taco, rebuttal. That's amazing. What do you got to say? Like,
I don't think I have a rebuttal. I would just echo all of Gov's points. Like, sorry, that's my daughter. But I would really just echo everything Gov said, and I think it's really he's a little bit more eloquent than I am, but it's really a revolutionary tech just coming to the space, and hopefully it will just provide a lot of access to people, a lot of access to tech, and just really increasing like the awareness and the functionality of NFT projects. And I'm really excited for it. Excited to inaugurate the Launchpad.
It's huge. It's going to be epic. And I think that, like, it honestly, I've said it already, it's going to be great for people that don't know how to do all that stuff.
Small creators, no team, who need to rely on that kind of function. There's so many people in the space that just they can't do it by themselves, and they need that. It's great.